I wish to thank Prime Minister and Minister of Public Enterprises of the Kingdom of Tonga for the statement just made. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Antigua and Barbuda to introduce an address by the head of government.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Excellencies, colleagues. It's my distinct honor to introduce the pre-recorded statement by the Right Honorable Dr. Gaston Alfonso Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda. Prime Minister Brown, please.
Excellencies, 75 years ago in 1945, the colonial domination of much of the world's peoples defined the successful development chances of the oppressed. The dismantling of colonial rule, carried out by the law-making capability of the United Nations General Assembly, engineered a new system and designed a far better future with greater probability of success for the downtrodden. My own island country, a colony created in 1634 and freed almost 350 years later in 1981, owes its independence and sovereignty to the United Nations Resolution 1514 of 1960 and the struggles of its people.
I wish to thank the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance and Corporate Governance of Antigua and Barbuda for the statement just made. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Vietnam to introduce an address by head of government.
Mr. Vice President, I have the honor to introduce the pre-recorded statement of His Excellency Nguyen Xuan Phuc, Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're celebrating the 75th anniversary of the UN at an extraordinary time. Our pride for the growth of the UN is commingled with anxiousness as instability and pandemic are rampaging our planet. In the past 75 years, no world wars have come to pass. Peace, cooperation, and friendship have been thriving. Poverty and diseases have been on the retreat, and the life of humankind has been changing for the better. These immense achievements would not have been possible without the fundamental principles of the UN Charter and the UN itself as the center for harmonizing the actions of nations. The world today is faced with unprecedented challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic, together with instabilities, conflicts, great power competition, power politics, and climate change, are threatening the sustainable peace and development of nations.
I wish to thank Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam for the statement just made. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Cabo Verde to introduce an address by head of government.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, all protocol observed, I have the distinct honor to introduce the pre-recorded video of the statement by His Excellency Mr. José Ulisses Correia e Silva, Prime Minister and Head of the Government of the Republic of Cabo Verde, on this auspicious occasion of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. I thank you.
We offer our greetings and highest compliment to the President of the General Assembly and to the Secretary General, all protocol observers. We congratulate all member states of the United Nations as well the organization itself on reaching this historic milestone. We recognize 75 years of the United Nations contribution to peace, security, freedom, democracy, and promotion and protection of human rights and the reduction of poverty around the world. The United Nations may not be perfect, but neither is our world. That world, however, is a much better place because of the United Nations. Our world, comprised of such a diversity of countries, need governments on critical global issues of environment protection, public health, economic development, financial system, peace and security issues. The COVID-19 pandemic has once again shown the importance of multilateralism. When economies are disrupted and when borders are closed, everyone loses. Some may not lose more than others, but the net impact for our planet is most certainly negative. The devastating potential and reality of climate change knows no boundaries either. Poverty, hunger, insecurity, and instability cause impact and externalities that hardly conform to lines of country borders. In this context, Cabo Verde welcomes the adopted declaration, which symbolizes the criticality of this moment. We affirm the commitment to multilateralism and offers a vision for the future and the role of the United Nations. The COVID-19 crisis we are all experiencing should not confine the ambition of sustainable development to Agenda 2030. However, it imposes a strong additional challenge of overcoming the pandemic without leaving any country behind and relaunching the world economy without relinkage or share responsibility for the health of developing nations. Once again, this is the moment when the instrument of multilateral intergovernmental action in the context of truly global gain are essential to converge solution and good decision making. Cabo Verde is a member state that attach multilateralism the greatest relevance not only as a principle but also a network space for engagement. We fully participated and engaged in the concert of nations. Our commitment has been constant, consistent, and current, and so it will continue to be. Thank you.
I wish to thank the Prime Minister and Minister of Reform of the Republic of Cabo Verde for the statement just made. I now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Croatia to introduce an address by head of the government.
Mr. Vice President, I have the honor to introduce His Excellency Andrej Plenković, President of Government of the Republic of Croatia.
Excellencies, all protocol observed. Today we commemorate a milestone event in modern human history. 75 years ago, a new international order was launched based on multilateralism and deeply rooted in the victorious alliance over fascism. After two devastating world wars, the United Nations emerged from the ashes of battlefields as humankind's best hope and the foundation of a new, better world. The supreme ideal of the United Nations to achieve a just and lasting peace for the suffering humanity, as United States President Truman inspirationally stated at the San Francisco Conference in 1945.
I wish to thank the Prime Minister of Malaysia for the statement just made, and now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Somalia to introduce an address by the head of government.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I have the great honor to introduce the pre-recorded statement by His Excellency Mahdi Mohamed Guled, the Acting Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Somalia, on this occasion of the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. Thank you.
Mr. President, Excellencies, on this 75th anniversary of the United Nations, I congratulate you, Mr. President, for the well-deserved election. I also congratulate ourselves, the membership of the UN, for the tremendous achievements, progress, and the remarkable strides we have collectively made over the past 3/4 of a century. 75 years since the Charter of the UN was established, most nations of the world are enjoying freedom and progress. The UN has largely served as the independent organization developing and standing for international norms and law. The importance of the UN mission and the interdependence of the world has been brought home even more before the COVID-19 pandemic and the realities of the climate emergency that we are all living today. These two global challenges and many more, including the dehumanizing poverty, conflict, and instability that many countries, including Somalia, face, affirm that no country is an island, but that we are all interconnected. In Somalia, with the support of the international partners and the UN, we have made significant gains towards peace, security, and sustainable development. However, 3 decades of conflict and political instability need more solidarity and support. The climate change crisis affecting Somalia and everywhere, with frequent droughts, famine, sometimes floods, loss of livelihoods, and the displacement of millions, continue to demand joint action, partnership, and commitment to leaving no one behind. As we celebrate 75th birthday of the UN, it's a good time to renew our common aspirations and forge together the bright future we all want. A future without poverty, without conflict, and a future of sustainability. A future where development and human rights are promoted and supported for global peace and security. A future where radicalization and extremism, migrations are fought through strategic investment, green jobs, enhanced energy access, and sustainable development as a fundamental issue for our common civilizations. Somalia remains committed to inclusive multilateralism and sees the years ahead, despite the uncertainties, to hold much potential for all of humanity working together under the umbrella of the UN. We will work with all the members to achieve an organization that remains fit for purpose. It was established for an organization that reflects all our aspirations in the 21st century to promote and secure peace and prosperity for all. Let us all build a future of solidarity and trust and sustainability for humanity's success on this fragile common planet that we all share. I thank you all. Long live the United Nations. Thank you for your attention.
I wish to thank the Acting Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Somalia for this statement just made, and now give the floor to the distinguished representative of Oman to introduce an address by the Chairman of the State Council.
This is microphone. Can you hear me now? Okay. Assalamu.
May the peace of God be upon you. Mr. President, thank you. I am honored to introduce His Excellency, His Majesty Abdul Malik Al Khalili, head of the State Council, who will deliver the pre-recorded message of the Sultanate of Oman during this high-level meeting to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. Mr. President, member state representatives, I am honored to extend to your gathering the greetings and best wishes of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, The Sultanate of Oman joins you in celebrating the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. We highly value our strategic partnership with the United Nations and reiterate our continued support for this partnership